A couple just got fined $350 in Switzerland for doing what your Instagram feed told you to do. And it's happening to thousands of tourists right now. I'm talking about photo fines, illegal Airbnbs, wild camping arrests, and even a village that banned photography altogether. Switzerland is fighting back against overtourism. And if you're planning a trip, you need to hear this, because what you don't know can literally cost you hundreds of dollars and ruin your vacation. But wait, before we begin, please subscribe to ensure that you never miss out on any of my essential stuff. Comment, I subscribe below, and I will personally welcome you to our community. With that said, let's get started. Let's start with the most common mistake. Section 1. The Instagram photo. Here's what travel influencers aren't telling you about those perfect Swiss photos. Meet Jessica from Austin, Texas. She spent 2 years planning her dream Switzerland trip, saved up $5,000, followed every Instagram travel guide, made spreadsheets of the most photogenic spots. She was ready. Her first stop? Lauterbrunnen. You know, that insanely beautiful valley with waterfalls everywhere and those classic alpine meadows. She woke up at 5 a.m. for sunrise, hiked to this gorgeous meadow she'd seen in 100 Instagram posts, set up her tripod, and got the shot. The light was perfect. The mountains were glowing. She felt like she'd nailed it. 2 days later, there's an envelope waiting for her at the hotel. Inside, a fine for 350 Swiss francs. That's $380 US dollars. For taking a photo. Turns out that perfect Instagram meadow, it's private farmland, protected agricultural land. The signs warning tourists were in German and French. Jessica never saw them, never knew. And she's not alone. According to 2024 data from the Swiss Tourism Federation, photo-related fines have increased 340% since 2019. 340%. The village of Lauterbrunnen alone issued over 1,200 fines to tourists in 2023. The average fine? Between $250 and $400. Jessica told me she felt betrayed. Every single travel blog showed this exact spot, she said. How was I supposed to know? So here's what you need to do instead. Download the Switzerland Mobility app. It's the official Swiss tourism app, and it shows legal photo spots marked with blue pins. You can also book photo tours with local guides. They cost about $30, and they know exactly where you can legally shoot. And when you're hiking, follow the yellow trail markers. Yellow signs mean public access. If you're leaving the trail to get a shot, you're probably trespassing. But that $350 fine? That's nothing compared to what happened to the family in Interlaken. Section 2. The Airbnb Nightmare. Locals in Swiss villages are fighting back against Airbnb, and tourists are getting caught in the crossfire. The Martinez family from Spain booked what looked like a charming alpine apartment in Wengen. Great reviews, beautiful photos, amazing price compared to hotels. $120 a night for a 3-bedroom place with mountain views. They were stoked. They arrive, drag their suitcases up 3 flights of stairs, and immediately notice something's off. There are angry notes taped to their door. In German. In English. The messages are pretty clear. Not welcome. You are part of the problem. This building is for workers, not tourists. And it gets worse. That evening, 3 local residents knock on their door. And they're not happy. You're the 15th tourist group this month, one of them says. Do you have any idea what you're doing to our village? Turns out, their Airbnb host was illegally renting out an apartment that was supposed to be reserved for seasonal workers. You know, the people who actually keep the restaurants and ski lifts running. The host lived in Zurich and was making thousands off this place while locals couldn't find housing. The next morning, police showed up. The Martinez family got evicted. At midnight, they lost their $1,200 booking, had to find a last-minute hotel at $400 a night, and spent their dream vacation stressed out and feeling horrible. Here's the reality. A 2024 study by the University of Zurich found that 67% of Swiss mountain villages are experiencing housing crises directly caused by short-term rentals. In Zermatt, you know, the fancy ski town with the Matterhorn, local worker housing decreased by 34%, while tourist apartments increased 89% between 2019 and 2024. Average rent for locals in these hotspots? It's gone up 156%. Some villages now have waiting lists of 3 years or more for residents trying to find housing. People who were born there, whose families have lived there for generations, can't afford to stay. So what should you do? Book only licensed accommodations. Look for the official Swiss tourism badge when you're searching. Stay in hotels, guest houses, or certified mountain huts that actually support the local economy. And here's a pro tip. Consider villages that are 15 or 20 minutes away from the main hotspots. You'll get better prices, a more authentic experience, and you won't be contributing to housing crises. There's even a platform called Switzerland Select that verifies the legal status of rentals. That's when things took a darker turn, because some tourists aren't just breaking rules, they're breaking centuries-old traditions. Section 3. The Cowbell Controversy. A tourist's 1-star review sparked a national controversy, and Switzerland's response shocked the world. This is wild. A British tourist named Andrew stayed at a hotel in Grindelwald. Beautiful place, mountain views, everything you'd want. Except Andrew couldn't sleep. Why? Cowbells. The constant clanging of cowbells from the farm next door. So he left a scathing 1-star review. Couldn't sleep because of constant cowbells. Hotels should warn guests about noise pollution. This is unacceptable for a premium accommodation. Demanding a refund. The review went absolutely viral in Switzerland. Local news outlets covered it for weeks. Swiss social media exploded. People were furious. The Swiss Tourism Board actually issued an official statement defending alpine farming traditions. They said cowbells are part of Switzerland's cultural heritage, not noise pollution. Andrew started receiving hate mail. He had to delete all his social media accounts. Now, here's what makes this complicated. Andrew isn't alone. A 2024 survey found that 23% of international tourists complained about rural noise in the Swiss Alps. Cowbells, church bells, roosters, tractors. But here's the flip side. 89% of Swiss residents said tourism is threatening traditional farming culture. And it's having real consequences. 12 alpine farms have shut down in the past 3 years. The farmers cited constant harassment and complaint from tourists as a major factor in their decision to quit. Here's what people need to understand. Cowbells aren't decoration. They're not there to be cute for your Instagram. They're a 500-year-old working tradition used for tracking livestock in the mountains. Many Swiss families have bell-making traditions that go back 10 generations or more. And here's the kicker. Tourism income doesn't even reach most farmers. The money goes to hotels and tour operators. So farmers deal with the complaints and the harassment, but they don't see the benefits. Look, if you're booking a hotel in an alpine village, you're staying in a working agricultural community. Animals make noise. Church bells ring. Tractors drive by. If you need quiet, stay in a city hotel or book a soundproofed room. Better yet, research your destination before you go. This is someone's home, someone's livelihood. It's not a theme park designed for your comfort. But wait until you hear what tourists are doing that's actually illegal. Section 4. The Wild Camping Arrests. This Swiss law from 1934 is catching tourists completely off guard, and the fines start at $500. A group of 4 German hikers wanted to save money on their Switzerland trip. They'd seen YouTube videos about wild camping. Just pitch a tent somewhere beautiful, sleep under the stars, wake up to epic views. Free accommodation, right? They hiked up to Lake Eskinen, absolutely stunning location. Turquoise water, surrounded by peaks. At sunset, they found a perfect flat spot and pitched their tents. Too beautiful to resist, one of them posted on Instagram. At 6 a.m., they woke up to flashlights and voices. Park rangers and police. Every single person got fined 600 Swiss francs. That's $650 US dollars. Each. They had to pack up their tents immediately and hike down in the pouring rain. One of the hikers told reporters, "We had no idea it was illegal. In Germany, we have freedom to roam laws. We thought it was fine." Here's what you need to know. Wild camping is illegal in most Swiss cantons. There are designated emergency bivouac zones above 2,500 meters, but that's it. And in 2024, authorities issued over 2,100 fines for illegal camping. That's up 190% from 2019. Why is it legal? Environmental protection, fire risk, sanitation. At popular camping spots, rangers are seeing trampled vegetation, toilet paper everywhere, trash left behind. Alpine ecosystems take 50 years or more to recover from that kind of damage. Plus, local rescue teams respond to over 40 camping-related emergencies every year. Exposure, injuries, people getting lost. The fines range from $500 to $1,000 depending on where you camp and how much environmental damage you cause. But here's the solution. Use designated mountain huts. The Swiss Alpine Club runs huts all over the country. They cost between $30 and $60 a night, and they're an authentic alpine experience. There are also legal bivouac zones above 2,500 meters if you research them beforehand. And you can book farm stays or campgrounds in the valleys. Totally legal and way more comfortable. The Switzerland Mobility app, one mentioned earlier, it shows legal overnight spots too. Now here's the controversy that has Switzerland divided right down the middle. Section 5, the photography ban. This is the part that shocked me most. A Swiss village actually made it illegal to photograph their town. Here's why locals are celebrating. In 2019, the tiny village of Bergen, population 450, passed a bylaw banning photography. The reason? To protect resident privacy. The fine for breaking the rule? $250. An American couple visited, saw the signs, thought it was a joke, and posted photos on Instagram anyway. Local police contacted them and issued the fine. The couple freaked out, posted about dystopian Switzerland, and the story went mega viral worldwide. News outlets everywhere covered it. Swiss village bans photos. Tourists fined for Instagram posts. It was crazy. Here's the twist. It was a publicity stunt. The whole thing was a marketing campaign designed to highlight the issue of overtourism. But the emotions behind it were real. Residents of Bergen used the campaign to express genuine frustration about being photographed constantly, about having strangers invade their privacy, about feeling like they lived in a zoo. While Bergen's ban was fake, the sentiment across Switzerland is very real. A 2024 survey of Swiss residents found that 71% feel invaded by tourist photography. 43% of people living in alpine villages report strangers photographing their homes, their gardens, even their children without permission. And some villages are considering real restrictions now, especially around private zones. But here's where it gets even more controversial: drones. So many tourists are illegally flying drones in Switzerland. Swiss law is super strict about this. Drones are banned in national parks, near airports, over crowds, and you need permission to fly near private property. The fines? $1,000 to $10,000 for violations. In 2023 alone, authorities issued 340 drone-related fines to tourists. Now, let's talk about the different perspectives here because this is complicated. From the tourist view, I paid thousands of dollars to be here. I should be able to take photos and capture memories. From the local view, our home isn't your theme park. We have a right to privacy. We didn't consent to being content for your social media. From the business view, tourism brings revenue and jobs, but at what cost to community well-being and quality of life? There's no easy answer, but here's what you can do to be respectful. Ask permission before photographing people, their homes, or private property. Check drone regulations before you travel. There's an official Swiss government app called map.geo.admin.ch that shows restricted zones. Focus your photos on landscapes and public spaces, not people's private lives. And here's a big one. Share photos responsibly. Don't geotag hidden or sensitive locations. There are pristine spots in Switzerland that are being overrun because influencers shared the exact coordinates with millions of followers. So here's what it all comes down to. Switzerland isn't trying to keep tourists out. They're trying to preserve what makes the country special in the first place. In 2024, Switzerland received 51 million overnight stays. That's a record high. But 89% of Swiss residents are worried that tourism will destroy the culture and environment that attracts visitors to begin with. It's this paradox. Tourists come to Switzerland for authenticity, for traditional villages, pristine nature, genuine alpine culture. But mass tourism destroys that authenticity. It drives up housing costs so locals can't afford to live there anymore. It tramples the environment. It turns communities into theme parks. Here's the good news. You can absolutely travel to Switzerland responsibly. Research laws and customs before you go. Support local businesses instead of international chains. Respect private property. Follow environmental rules. Honor cultural traditions. Travel during shoulder seasons. May and September are beautiful and way less crowded. Visit lesser-known villages instead of just hitting the Instagram hotspots. Switzerland is one of the most beautiful places on Earth. And it can stay that way if we all do our part. Here's my question for you. Should Switzerland start limiting tourist numbers like Venice and Barcelona are doing? Or is that going too far? And be honest, have you ever broken a travel rule without even knowing it? Drop your story in the comments, because I bet you're not alone. And if you're planning a Switzerland trip, you need to see my next video on the 7 things locals wish tourists would stop doing. The third one might surprise you. Thanks for watching, and travel responsibly out there.